Okay, welcome to the practical aspect of this class. I will want us to understand the interface now. The interface that we used, that one was on the slide. So we are going to be using this now, practical. This for the practical. Now, I told us the other time that this part is called the quick access toolbar, where you save, where you undo, although normally Ctrl Z, Ctrl Y, you redo this place where you save your work like that. Now, for the file where you be importing your data from, exporting your data, opening your data to, it is very important too. So that is called the ribbon. Now, the ribbon is where you can change your font, where you can change your font size, where you can change your color, the text color, and all. We're using that one during the visualization, where you can bold, do underline, italize your work and all like that at the ribbon side. Now, these ones too like are very important where you merge, where you wrap up text, where you can change your. This is where you are going to be formatting your data, where you have your general number, currency, account. You format your data here. So when we get there, you are going to get more understanding of those ones too. Conditional formatting, self style, inserting, and when you want to edit, sorting, filtering, and all like that on this ribbon side. Now, don't forget all these ones are very necessary. On this ribbon side, you can insert your pivot table. This way, I'm going to be tracking your chart and all. This is basically visualizations like that. When you want to draw your page layout setup, this is where you do it, send to the back and all. Some of the things we are going to be doing, your practical aspect is going to involve all these things on the ribbon. So on the ribbon, depending on how you want to pronounce it anyways. So the formulas, the data, when you be bringing data from CSV, from web and all, from pictures and all that. So I told them, somebody asking us in during the class that how are you going to bring it. So all these ones are very needed. So the more you work or you excel, the more you get better. The more you get better. So this is the interface now. So apart from all this one, I told us that we have the name box. The name box is where your cell is being named. If you look at this, when I click on F, it's showing F5. When I click on G, it's showing G5, then H5, then H4, J4, like that. So note this, no matter how large your data is, it will not stop at Z. It continues A R A S A F A B1 B C C T C U C W C. So that's that on that. You can use, if you see it, if you look at the top of your column, if you look at it, just like the header, it goes on and on and on like that. So that's that on that. Also this part, your rows, your row number is numbered basically according to the box. So you can go down and down depending on the data set. Even if it's 1000, it will contain it like that. So it's just named like that so that you can get to understand where each of your details are. Now also we have the sheets tab. This sheet tab, you can add new sheets to it. You can add another sheet to it if you want to. Then for today's class, we'll be using this one. So if you want to rename your sheet, you can rename your sheet like this here. Class 1, then class 2. So I'm just Then you can delete any of the sheets. If you right click, then you delete. So that's that. But that for your visuals, actually you can actually increase it here so that you can see better. You get, so I will increase it here so that you can actually see what I'm doing very, very well. So that you can see what I'm doing very well. Without wasting much time, let's go into the practical aspect of the class. Now, what we'll be doing is we are going to be importing, we are going to be bringing in our data. We will not import the data from your file. If you have your data on your file, you just go into your file, then you go to open, then you bring in your data. But for now, we are going to do this manually for this class. Now there's a task for this, there's a task on this. So I'll do something for us. I'll do the practical aspect for us now. So you do your own, then I'll give us a task. Then the task, basically you use it to do your own so that it will be easier. Now let's assume that you are given the score of students in a school. So you are given a score, and then you are told to, okay, you are told to have the remark for them if they actually score good, if they actually score no, if their score actually make them pass or make them fail. So I'm going to be using that scenario to explain this for the benefit of this class. Now this class, these are just fictional data sets. These are not true. I'm just bringing this data set so that we can understand the basic functions. So they are not true. They are not true. So now this is what I let's go on. This is what I did here. I press Control B. You can actually go there and put in what you want to do. Then this call to, then you can highlight the two, place it in the center by pressing Shift. Then you click on it, then bring it to the center. So let me change the font size. I highlighted everything so that every of the cells have the same font. Now this is a student. Let us assume for the benefit of this class, let's assume these names, let's assume Ade. These are not true data. Let's assume Shell. Let's say Bob. Addition. Let's say Joy. V. Let's do John. Let's do John. Okay, fine. So we are assuming this course. Let's assume this course. Let's say 30. Let's say 50. Let's say 45. 70. 80. Let's say 20. Let me add other names so that we get let's do 25 for this. Now notice when you are performing any function in Excel, you must have your equals to. If your equals to is not there, you can't get it. For example, after pressing your equals to, if I press sum now, if I press sum without equals to, it should just bring it as if it's a cell that has that details. And then to show, you can actually edit it here. You can edit it in your formula bar. Edit it in your formula bar. So anything you do, you can edit it. You can edit it also on your cell. When you click on it, then you need to edit it so it will appear there. So for every function you are performing, take note of this, that you must put equals to. Now let's do few things. Let's use some of the basic functions, the sum, the average, highest and lowest. Now let's do this one. Now if you are told, okay, for this class let's get the sum of all the scores, that is the total score. Now total score of the student. Now total score, let me enlarge this. You can enlarge this way so that it can actually show us something nice. Now for total score, for this total score, now what you do is that you do equals to sum. You see, it will bring it out. So you double click on your sum, then you click on your number. You can highlight the numbers like this, then you close your brackets. Let's do that again. Highlight your numbers like this, close your bracket. If you press your enter, to give you the total score. So you can highlight it like that, or you use shift. I will do it in form of shift also. Now note this is 360. If you change any of this to like 10, automatically it will change your total score. Can you see that? Let me change this one to 35. You see, you change your total score. No matter how you change your score, it will not affect, because you have conditioned this side. You have formatted that cell. Like, okay, this is what it should operate at that part. That is why it's showing you the formula at the top. Formula is stated at the top. But here you see the values. So that's that for that. Now let me put this one. That's the total score. Now that is for the sum. You have used the sum equals to. Note, if you don't use equals to, you will not get your function being applied. Now let's go into other ones. Let's say you are told to get, okay, fine, the average score, like the average score of students. See, the spelling is wrong. I can bring it here, then change it like that. So the average score of students, let me hold it. The average score of student here. Okay, what are the average score of the student? You just put equals to. I told us that when you are doing your function average, note, you will not get your average is still your mean. So what we do is that you can just click here. Now I'll be using the shift for this one. Shift. You can just click your shift down. If your data is so large, you can just control shift down. So when you do that, it will highlight all your data for you. So when I press enter straight, instead of putting bracket, it gives me my average. So this is the average of this score. So if I change any of the score to be, let's say, 30, it will change the two data. The average score is now 43.73. The total score is now, the average score is now 43.7. The total score is now 350. So let's assume that we don't have the correct data after saving everything, after saving your work. Please note, you have to save your work. After saving your work, if you change it, it will change that one. It will change the average score also. Now also let's use other basic functions like highest score. That is, I'm using the basic function so that we can get the understanding. So we have equals to what highest, that's maximum. So you need to be familiar with some of these functions, and then you don't cram them. If you need any other one, you check through to tell you what to do. Shift then down. So let's see, what's the highest score? The highest score is 80. The highest score is 80. Then let's do for the lowest. lowest score, lowest score, lowest score. Let's change this one. There's a way we can change this one normally in when we do our cleaning. You put it equals to proper. So, but we are not doing cleaning yet. So the lowest score for the student, okay, let's do it. You go to equals to lowest score of the minimum. Then we click on this and press enter. Then we have the lowest score of the minimum. The minimum. So that's that on that. Now let's not assume because let's not assume, okay, fine. Your major task is to get if they actually failed or they passed the exam. So you are told to write the remark. You are told to write the remark. Sorry, I pressed. Okay. You are told to write the remarks. Anything you do on Excel function to actually reflect everything you are doing. So now listen, for you to get the remark now, remark for all the students, what you do is very simple. You are going to be using a conditional statement for you to get the remark. So I'm applying those things to real life thing so that we get to understand everything we need when it comes to the basic function. So after this part, you are going to do a task which is going to involve this. Now let's do this one. Now let's say, okay, you are told that if they score less than, okay, let me change this one. Okay, if they score less than 40, the person actually failed. Based on this class, this is not every data set. Based on this class, you are told that they actually failed if they score less than 40. So what we do is that, let me delete this sheet. Okay, we are using sheet 3 for the class now. So what we do is this. So what you do is you use a conditional statement if. So you can't press your if yourself. You need to go and check it. You need to go and click it. If now, what's your logical test? That's why Excel is so nice. It will give you an aid of what you can write. You get, but if you don't know what you are doing too, you might not actually understand. So if 30, this one, let's remove the sheet. If this is, if the first one is, let's say, lesser than 30, okay, we said 40, you put comma, you tell it that it is the person actually fail. Now note, this is string. Anytime you write anything in string, you put it into a parenthesis. So that Excel will understand that, okay, these are in words. If it's number, you put it. If it's number, you have your number ready. So if it's in words, you put it that, okay, this is in words, string. You put it in parenthesis. Okay, now let's do. This one is not put in parenthesis because we are not using it as a conditional statement. Especially when you are using it in a formula bar. If you're using this in a formula bar, you need it to perform a specific function. You put all your words in parentheses. Now let's go. So it means that if this one is less than 40, it's failed. But if it's meaning is greater than 40, the person pass. You can do it that way. Or you can say if this one is greater than 40, it pass. Then if it's not, it failed. So you press your enter. Pressing your enter, you have fail here. Why? You are not the one that decided if the person fail or not. You just conditioned that place. That is part of conditional formatting. We are going into it gradually. Just condition that play that if this person scores less than 40 and Ade scores 30, it fail. Now what you will do now is that instead of you writing it for the whole part, you just highlight it downward like this. Did you see? It brings it for everybody. So if you click on it, it will show you the same thing, but it will change the naming. It changes the meaning. So you now say, okay, fine. For the remark, meaning Ade fail, this one passed, Bob passed, Joy passed, Feyi passed, John failed. Can you see? So that is how it works. That is how it works. I just saved that now. So we have used our basic function to solve this problem. So for this class, we are going to end it here. So your task will be sent to you to finish up this class. So after your task, you will get to understand. You need to practice it. You can actually practice this as I've done it like that. You can pause the video and all like that and do it like this before you get your task. So after this practical class, we are going to other aspect of cleaning. We go to cleaning, other aspect of the class, and that is data cleaning in Excel. So I'll see you in the next class.